Hi, Petruta. Thank you so much for taking the time for having this interview with me. How are you doing?
Hey, Gemma, very happy to be here and thank you for having me.
Okay, great. So we'll start with the first question. So, how did the data protection regulatory landscape change since the last time we spoke?
2021 was the year of COVID-19 pandemic, heightening everyone's reliance on digital services and platforms. This new reality impacted many aspects of our lives and posed new and unique challenges to everyone. New models for treatment of personal data emerged as governments around the world reported to tracking technology and other data-driven tools to monitor and curb the spread of the virus. Work and education alike moved into people's most private spaces, their homes. In this context, regulators, private and public organizations found themselves confused with what they can or should collect in terms of personal data, how to protect those personal data, and amid all of this, individual sense of being interfered with their very private lives has deepened. At the same time, 2021 was the year when many data protection and privacy professionals expected that the US would put in place a GDPR-inspired federal privacy law. But today, there has been little movement toward a comprehensive federal privacy legislation. Therefore, the issue of individuals' data privacy has been left to the states to decide. And during 2021, 23 states introduced data privacy bills to compensate for the absence of federal privacy laws. Nevertheless, only two states managed to pass their bills into law, respectively Virginia and Colorado.
So, from what I can grasp, 2022 is looking as intense as 2021 in data protection. Is this a correct statement?
2022 has started in full force with regulators focusing on enforcing the requirements around data transfer stemming from the infamous Schrems II decision of the Court of Justice of the EU. Consequently, in the first month of 2022, we had a decision from the European Data Protection Supervisor rebuking the EU's Parliament, among others, over the use of Google Analytics for COVID-19 testing website, and a decision from the Austrian DPA holding that the use of Google Analytics by an Austrian website provider led to transfers of personal data to Google LLC in violation of Chapter 5 of the GDPR. And if that was not enough, behavioral advertising industry got a ticking time bomb to reform the EAB so-called transparency and consent framework found to breach Europe's GDPR lawfulness, fairness, and transparency requirements. On the other hand, a host of legislative initiatives are currently in different stages to be passed by the EU institutions with a direct impact on the collection and use of data, especially by the big tech platforms. And I'm referring to the Digital Services Act, which is going to reform the e-commerce directive by imposing a liability regime on social media platforms for illegal content, but also to other such as the Digital Marketing Act, the Data Governance Act, the AI Intelligence Act, and the Data Act.
So, what can you tell us about your work at Rangu? You have a small team at the moment. What are your projects that you're working on with your team?
Together with my colleague Stephen Reagan, we are very much focusing to help customers with their data protection assessments, impact and data transfer assessments alike. We provide support with stakeholders training and educational programs, especially for the business stakeholders who are a very important part of any organization's effort to protect their data and support regulatory compliance. Furthermore, we are working on programs for the upcoming EU directive on corporate sustainability, due diligence, and environmental governance, and the German Supply Chain Due Diligence Act.
So, last time we spoke, you said that data privacy and data protection is the right place to be for women in tech. Do you still believe that?
Yes, I do strongly believe that women in all sectors of activity are very powerful voices for gender equality in the workplace. So at the same time, we still have a complicated road ahead of us. If we think at the episode of Timnit Gebru and her controversial termination with Google, from what appears to have been a difference of opinions with the company management. But on the flip side, I'm happy to see women leading heavy digital strategic portfolios, and I'm very proud of Margaret Vestager's work on her priorities for Europe fit for the digital age. And likewise, I'm proud of the work Lina Khan is doing at the helm of the most important consumer protection governmental agency in the US, which is the Federal Trade Commission.
And to finish off this interview, I hope you don't mind, I will finish this discussion by asking about what are your top tips for success?
What helped me through the years is a kind of a balanced combination of humbleness and defiance. But we women know how to stand our grounds and make that change, and that's my message to everyone.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Petruta, for your time.
Thank you for having me, Gemma. Nice talking to you.
Thank you. Bye.